The Dutch. The swamp Germans. The people like bikes, and for some reason, really like the cheese. The Dutch, like any other European power in the western part of the continent, were no strangers to the idea of colonialism, as anyone can remember the Dutch East India Company and the deeds they committed in the islands of Indonesia. The Dutch had a considerable empire, what I can say, especially when you take into account their size and influence in Europe and the wider world. But the one question I always wanted to ask was, what the hell did the Dutch do in the Americas? Because, yes, I know the Dutch do currently control Aruba, but in some old maps from back in the day, they say they had many territories in the Americas. Such examples being New York, Tobago, the Virgin Islands, and yeah, don't forget Brazil, Chile, and the freaking Guyanas. So yeah, today's video we're going to talk about the Dutch Americas and finally answer that one question. What the fuck were the Dutch doing in the Americas?
Oh, ga je mijn maagdeneiland koloniseren?
Nee, jij krijgt een enkeltje naar de rijstvelden, jij vuile sodomiet!
Dutch New York, or New Netherland. In 1610, a certain Englishman by the name Henry Hudson, you probably heard of him, right, would explore the regions of the current-day North American East Coast in order to find a northwest passage into the East Indies. Wonder how that went. And yeah, and soon after some trading expeditions by this guy, the town of Fort Nassau on Castle Island along the Hudson River near present-day Albany was founded. Not gonna lie, that was a freaking mouthful, let me just be honest. And yeah, Fort Nassau was mostly founded for the fur trade, more so beaver fur, that they traded with the Native American tribe of the Lenape people, but was later renamed Fort Orange in honor of the House of Orange-Nassau that was the reigning house of the Netherlands at the time. And yeah, more settlers would later come into the settlement in 1624 that would later found the town of New Amsterdam, that would soon become New York when the English did, well, their stuff.
Lad, are you dumb? Are you getting rude to man?
Because, well, everyone knows the English and what like succeeds their existence. So yeah, you already know what the English did. They conquered the place, so what do you expect? So yeah, the settlement was relatively chill for the most part, as they mostly dwelled in trading fur and eventually African slaves in the town of New Amsterdam for slave labor. And yeah, in the course of 40 years, the colony would gain territory as they bought land from the Native Americans from the region, such as Peter Minuit's purchase of Manhattan Island for 60 guilders, which is approximately $900 in today's money. And yeah, fun fact, they would even deal with the freaking Swedes for some reason, with the colony of Fort Christina that they established back in 1638 that was just down south of the New Netherland colony at the time. The town of New Amsterdam had a pretty diverse population in terms of demographics, as the Dutch were pretty much a tolerant folk when it came to the question of religious differences. They had Protestants from Wallonian France, they had Jews, Africans both slaves and freemen, Native Americans, Dutch men and women, and other Europeans such as Swedes, Anglos and Germans. And yeah, the colony, although having a diverse population, was not really populous to say the least, as the highest population they ever reached was approximately 9,000 people back in 1674, before they got capitalized by the English into the 13 colonies. And yeah, the Dutch West India Company, or the DWIC, would try to fix this population issue by coming up with the Patroon System, and it was basically like this. Hey, are you a member of the
Geoctrooieerde West-Indische Compagnie.
No? Then maybe you're just some Dutch aristocrat who's very rich and has a lot of disposable income. If that is you, then say no more. Welcome to the Dutch colony of New Netherland. We're the new colony that recently popped up for the sweet beaver fur, and we're looking for settlers, I mean investors. And yes, for any of you Hollanders looking for a way to spend that disposable income, I suggest you come to the New Netherland colony. New Netherland. So yes, come on, bring 50 or so plus people to the New Netherland colony and you'll be given a giant piece of land, all under your disposal.
Oh my god!
So yeah, bring in your money, bring in your family, bring in your slaves, or don't, we have a slave market. So yeah, bring in your everything, we have it all. Welcome to New Netherland.
Responsibilities such as providing tools, livestock, and provisions are important before you come in, and some taxes do apply.
So yeah, that was the Patroon System. Basically, if you're an aristocrat or a member of the DWIC, you're allowed to bring 50 or so plus people to the colony, get a large estate like a feudal lord, and yes, with the judicial and administrative powers, and in the end bring in a level of economic output through taxes, rents, and agricultural products that you had to make. Of course, there would be benefits such as, well, protection from the local security force, and yeah, pretty much, well, out of what I've just literally researched for this video, but hey, whatever. I don't know much about the entire colony. I'm as clueless as you, but hey, whatever. We all learn something every day. So yeah, So yeah, this Patroon system would greatly benefit the colony, as not only did the colony achieve a growing population, but it exhibited a growing agricultural sector that benefited the colony economically. So yeah, the social structure of the colony. So yeah, the social structure of the colony of New Netherland was also like this. Okay, so at the high top part of the social structure, it was the highest class, that was the patroons. They were granted land by the DWIC, they owned most of the land of the colony, and yeah, basically they were just the higher upper class of the entire society of New Netherland. And yeah, below them were the merchants and company officials who formed the upper middle class, and they were responsible for the basis of the colonies functioning in the fur trade and slave trade. And below them were the settlers and farmers who did all the farming and stuff like that. And then below them there were the laborers and indentured servants who just did all the hard work. Then the enslaved Africans, because why? Look at the time period, MFA. And finally the Native Americans, who are not technically a part of the social system, but they were just there as a by the way in the society of the Dutch in the New Netherland colony. And yeah, that was basically the social structure. So yeah, now into the political structure. The colony, of course, was under the DWIC, who had a charter from the Dutch government. The DWIC would later appoint a Director General who oversaw the rule of the colony on behalf of the company. Council also existed that appointed lower officials from the popular settlers in the colony. And yeah, this with the addition of mayors known as burgomasters and magistrates known as schepens. Not gonna lie at this point, I think I should learn Dutch. Like, damn, have you heard like how Dutch sounds like? Like, not gonna lie, it sounds awesome. Let me just be honest. Not gonna lie, I think I should just enter Duolingo and start learning Dutch or something. Okay, that was a brief intervention, but hey, whatever. I'm just trying to make jokes. Come on, man. What do you expect? And yeah, these guys were basically doing all this law stuff in the colony. And of course, since they were Dutch and this was a Dutch colony, Dutch law applied, so what do you expect? Oh, and also ordinances that regulated daily life, trade, land ownership, and interactions with the natives. So yeah, the colony, however, would not last, as it would end in twice, I think. As for example, number one being in 1664, when the English captured New Amsterdam without much resistance, and then renaming it to New York in honor of the Duke of York. No, not this one, not this one, not this one. Yeah, that one. That's the guy. Yeah, that's better. Hope you understand that joke. Honestly, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. But anyway, and in 1674, after some war with the English and French, the Treaty of Westminster fully sealed the English ownership of the colony of New Netherland, or New Orange, which was the name that the Dutch renamed the colony after they retook it from the English. And yeah, the Dutch colony of New Netherland under the English, under the name of New York, would later become one of the most populous colonies in the 13 colonies, and during the course of history would become the cosmopolitan city of New York that we all know today. And yeah, the influence of Dutch culture in American culture would basically be, bringing in these place names, these stuff.
Nico, it's Roman. Let's go bowling.
And adding some bit of Dutch in American law. And by the way, fun facts, Theodore Roosevelt was of Dutch origin. No wonder he was so fucking manly. Look at him, pure Dutchman energy right there. I don't know how to make jokes, give me a break, man. And yeah, so yeah, that was the New Netherland colony. I might make this a series talking about what the Dutch were doing in Americas, but hey, it depends with me, it depends on my schedule, my life, and whether I feel like it. It's all up to me, so yeah. But hey, I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, have a nice one, bruv. See you in the next one, if possible.